Thursday night. My name is Dr. Staci Holweger, and I always want to start with letting you know what kind of doctor I am. Everybody wants to know that. So I have a PhD in integrative medicine. I'm actually working on my PhD in functional medicine right now. And what those mean are basically using different holistic modalities, different types of natural ways to help the body get into balance, to help the body to be able to have its best quality of life, right? Your body, anybody's body. And so I have a lot of tools in my toolbox. I've done a lot of studies in all different types, many different modalities, of course, over the years. And so not medicine as far as, prescription medications. I don't deal with any of that. Obviously, though, I do know things about them. I don't prescribe them. I don't order blood work. That's just not my forte. I love to educate. I used to be a school teacher 30 years ago. Like I said, I love to educate people and help them in health and wellness and improving their quality of life wherever they are, whatever age they are. And so with that, please understand that tonight, the information that I share with you is not intended, of course, to diagnose you or to give you any ideas on, treating or curing yourself. I am going to share information. I'm going to share ideas and suggestions of things, but we're going to be talking about symptoms that you may be experiencing or symptoms that other people experience and how you can help, improve your quality of life. Okay, so what I'll be saying will be based on studies, clinical studies done with people, but not talking about, a clinical study with Parkinson's or a clinical study with neuropathy, right? So we're going to talk about the things that people experience, and you can ask any questions you want. So with that, I'm going to share this technology. So the person that invited you here is excited for you to hear about this brand new stem cell technology. And know that stem cells are not new, but this technology is fairly new as far as being a wearable light technology with stem cells. So this has only been out on the market just a few years. The inventor of this tech, his name is David Schmidt. He is an inventor, a scientist, a researcher. He's a lab rat, and he's invented things his entire life. It took him 10 years in research and development in the lab to figure out how to signal your body's stem cell production, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But just so you know, if you're not really for sure what stem cells are what we call the holy grail of healing. All right, we have an abundance of them when we're young. That's why kids have boundless amounts of energy. They go. They can fall over in a crowded room and they can sleep like a baby, right? They can ride their bikes, fall down, break their bones, and get up and take off running like nothing ever happened. You never see a 5-year-old with gray hair or a 10-year-old with back pain or a 15-year-old with heart disease because they have a boundless amounts of stem cells in their body, an abundance of that. And so we know as we age, we make less stem cells. By the time we're in our 30s, you make about half the stem cells you did when you were a child, which is why you start to see the fine lines. You start to have a lesser quality of sleep. Maybe your metabolism slows down a little bit. You kind of start to go like, why did I walk in this room? And you turn around and walk back out again, right? Maybe you don't have as much energy and vitality as you once did. And then by the time of your 60s, there's less than 10% stem cells detectable in your bloodstream. So what does that mean for a child when they break their bone? Well, they heal quick, right? They get up and they take off and they're just like, go. What if grandma breaks her bone? Grandma may never get out of bed because she doesn't have the stem cells on board to repair herself, right? I love Maury. I love your faces. She's like, what? Exactly. Oh my God, grandma's not getting up. She broke her hip. Yeah, and because her body just doesn't have what it needs to repair and regenerate. And so what we're talking about tonight is regenerative medicine. We're talking about this stem cell technology to help your body repair and regenerate and rejuvenate like it did when it was young and youthful, okay? And so just so you guys got to have an understanding of me as well too, I've been researching stem cells for 20 years. I banked both of my kids' cord blood back when cord blood was not even a thing, okay? And I remember watching a TV program one day. I can't remember the name of the channel, but it was one of those educational documentary things. And they were talking about using donor cord blood from donor, moms, children, obviously, to cure. They said cure. They were curing African-American children with sickle cell anemia with donor cord blood. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. And then they went on to talk about cancer and diabetes and heart disease and Alzheimer's and the list of types of conditions and diseases and issues that people could potentially face as they got older, and cord blood could reverse that for them. So bank your kids' cord blood and they could be able to, have the better opportunity, right? Lori's like, yes, she gets that. Perfect. So I ended up having to do about 10 years of traditional stem cell therapy with my daughter in and out of the country after a misdiagnosis of cancer when she was 4, traumatic brain injury, bleed, a coma, and more surgeries than medications than anybody should ever have to even think about in their entire life. And so we did all kinds of holistic therapies to help her recover from that. And stem cell therapy was a big part of it. It was very costly. We spent over $100,000 out of pocket going in and out of the country, doing all different types of things, spending months on end in locations to do different types of modalities to help her. And so when I found this tech last year, I was looking for things, obviously, to help her improve her quality of life. I had never seen a non-transdermal patch before, obviously, that let alone signaled your body to increase its own stem cell production. I'm very familiar with transdermal patches, and I'm sure you guys are too. Transdermal patches are like birth control patches, nicotine patch, pain patch, estrogen patch. They're putting a chemical or a substance in the body to do something, okay, to alter something. This patch doesn't work that way. This is non-transdermal. Non-transdermal means nothing goes into the body. This is wearable light technology. And so how this works is when we apply this patch to our body's light or heat, right? You can feel your 98.6. You better be.
If I have dinner in the
doctor right away if you're not 98.6. So you can feel your heat, right? You're like being emitted from your body.
Either cook them with
you can
peppers and onions,
see that light. If
or
you go
have
outside,
them like a hot dog
about
buns.
Shortly in the next hour. If you go out and look through night vision goggles, you'll be able to see the colors, right, being emitted from the body, the red, the blue, the yellow, the green, right, that light or heat that's being emitted from the person. So when you apply this patch, our body's light reflects back a signal from the patch. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean a signal? What is a signal? So this patch, the white part right here, embedded in it is a crystal lattice structure. Okay, so not a clear quartz crystal or an amethyst or tourmaline, but a crystal lattice structure. So the structure is made up of a compound of organic amino acids and sugars, oxygen, water, salts, okay, that form this lattice. And this lattice is embedded in here. And our body's light reflects back a signal from that lattice. That lattice communicates with our body to increase our stem cell production. And it does that through the pathway of GHK-Cu copper peptide. I don't know if you guys have heard of copper peptide or not. It is in the anti-aging world and the esthetician. If you guys get facials, any estheticians on here, they know GHK-Cu, right? And so Laura's going to put a website in our chat. It's reverseagingwithghk.com. It's a Dr. Lauren Picard that spent over 50 years of clinical studies, research with people, looking at the benefits of increasing GHK-Cu. And so David started researching him and looking at his studies a long time ago and thought, this is fantastic. Everything from anti-aging to COPD to asthma, allergies to breast, prostate, and colon cancer. Like, we've got all the studies here that show the benefits of GHK-Cu, which is fabulous. But I need to figure out how to signal the body to increase its stem cell production, because increasing GHK is fabulous, but increasing stem cell production is the holy grail. And so he took 10 years in the lab, $4.5 million out of his own pocket, 10 years of R&D, never stopping to try to figure out how to signal the body to do what it's designed to do, which is to repair itself and regenerate itself. And he figured it out just a few years ago, and that's why we have this patch right here today. And this patch is changing lives. It's really improving the quality of people's lives. So you probably want to know, what do you expect, right? What are you going to notice first? What's going to happen? What am I going to feel? And I'm going to share with you what clinical studies say, okay? Now remember, nothing's going into your body, so there's no side effects. There's no contraindications to any medications you're on, any supplements you're on, any current therapies or modalities that you're utilizing. Nothing is going in. It's a signal, right? Increasing your own stem cell production, upregulating 6,000 of your genes, increasing your collagen production. So it's not going to put anything into your body. So you're okay if you're currently doing something else. No worries about side effects or contraindications, okay? But what do you experience? Well, we can see from clinical studies that people experience pain reduction. When I slapped this thing on Laura in 20 minutes on her shoulder, she had a reduction of pain, right? I slapped it on her husband, Tommy, that day that we went to see David last year, and he had the best deep sleep he'd had in forever. He couldn't remember that night. Now, is it normal to have experience like that on day one? No, they're part of the One Patch Wonder Club. But not everybody's like that. I'm going to share with you clinical studies. So clinical studies show that within the first 3 to 6 weeks, people experience pain reduction. They experience a deeper quality sleep, REM sleep. They have more mental clarity and energy and concentration and focus. They heal faster, right? Their wounds heal faster. There's a lady on my team, she's 72 years old, Sharon. She broke her wrist. She went and got x-rays. She put the patch on. Patching. 9 days later, she goes back. No more break. They didn't want to give her x-rays. There's no way you can heal at 72 years old. Your bones cannot repair in 9 days. And she goes, oh, yes, they can, because I'm using this stem cell technology. That's fast wound healing, right? So that's part of our beautiful side effect of increasing your stem cells. And then recovery from daily activity and fitness and mental clarity, concentration, energy, focus, things like that are improved as well too. And then from there, we really start to see improvements when we're looking at the systems of the body. So around that 3 to 6 week mark, we start to see improvements in our digestive system, our nervous system, and our immune system. And those are 3 pretty important systems, I would say. And I would say that most people have compromised systems. When you look at the nervous system, most people are in fight or flight mode. They're go, 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 nonstop, stressed, worry, fear, go, 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 anxiety, right? Right? Some of you guys are smiling. You're like, oh, yeah, that's great. Well, the opposite of that is parasympathetic, the rest and digest. We're going to talk specifically about that here in just a minute with our Eon patch that puts your body in that calm, rest, relaxed mode. But this patch also helps your nervous system, improves the functionality of your nervous system, and it improves your digestive system. You know, if you're stressed all the time, your intestines are in knots, right? You're probably not having regular bowel movements, or if you are, they're all over the board, the IBS, the bloating, the constipation, the diarrhea, the gas, the blah, right? And so this is going to help get your digestive system in check, as well as your immune system, which is housed in your digestive tract. So it's really important that we work on that immune system. But something really great happens at the 6 week mark, and we start to see massive improvements in your cardiovascular system, the entire vascular system. Looking at the heart, we can see every 6 weeks, your vascular system is functioning 8 weeks younger. Every 6 weeks, it's functioning 8 weeks younger. And we see this in our studies because we're testing the heart, right? We're looking at the EKGs, we're looking at the echoes, we're looking at the HRVs, we're looking at the functionality of the entire vascular system in people, and we see improvements. So what does that mean for you? We only have one heart. We all do have one. And we want to make sure, especially those of us on here that are women who hold your emotions right here, right? And number one killer for it's heart disease, but it's women more than men, right? So making sure that you keep your heart healthy as can be physically, and obviously emotionally as well too. But seeing that those improvements, those progression, we have a couple people that I've interviewed here recently, a couple doctors. One had right branch blockage in his heart, and in your artery, you don't get to fix that, you don't put a stent in, and so that would definitely decrease his longevity, the length of his life. And he had PCVs, abnormal heartbeats, his entire life, right? He said he just almost kind of catch him off guard and couldn't sleep well and things like that his entire life. And within 8 months, his blockage is completely gone, like a right branch blockage gone. And he has a cardiologist. He did all the tests with his cardiologist. He went back for follow-up with his cardiologist, and all the tests showed everything was perfectly normal. And the doctor's like, what are you doing? This doesn't happen. He's like, well, I'm using this stem cell patch. Stem cells happened. That's what happened. So we have another doctor I interviewed that had a heart attack when he was 45. And at the time of this interview, he was 65. And at 45, being a doctor, that he'd already, of course, can measure the functionality of his heart. And he has a family of doctors and pharmacists, and, he's on all kinds of medications. And the heart was functioning at age 75. Well, by the time I get to interview him at age 65, his heart is functioning still as a 75-year-old, right? Except for he had been using this patch for a year. So he'd done all kinds of medications and everything. He met a woman. She had him do all kinds of holistic modalities, all kinds of herbs and stuff. And his heart was still functioning as a 75-year-old until he used this patch for 1 year. Well, 1 year later, his heart's functioning in his mid-30s. Now, how did he go from almost 20 years of having a heart that was 75 years old to now it's functioning in its 30s? And how did that happen? Stem cells repaired the vascular system, rejuvenated the vascular system, right? That's life-changing. What about that for mortality rate? That's huge, right? So with that being said, you guys, I did say that this is backed by clinical studies with people. So I do want Laura to share the website. It's startx39.com. I want you to do your research. There's a video on there of David. There's videos of other doctors and practitioners and NFL players, and, you name it, estheticians. There's all kinds of stories on there and all kinds of people talking about how they're utilizing this. But there's also all the clinical studies. I want you to look at the science and the research and the data, right? You can see this is real. There are over 90 clinical studies at startx39.com. This patch alone has a 20-year patent, right? A 20-year patent. Like, you don't get a patent on something unless it's doing what you say it's doing, right? It has to be effective. And so all that information is there on startx39.com for you guys to check out, right? Of course, and feel free to ask any questions. You can type them in the chat. I'm happy to ask or answer anything you have. Tell you we do have other patches. We do have what we call supportive patches. David started this company 20 years ago working with the Navy SEALs, and he was asked to, invent things to help the SEALs on their mission with oxygenation and different types of sustainability. And they asked him to create something to help the SEALs get off their caffeine, amphetamines, and uppers. And he was given the information by God, downloaded the idea to create a non-transdermal patch that turned body fat into fuel, and that's called Energy Enhancer. And that was invented 20 years ago. So this patch being non-transdermal is not new. I didn't know about it. I know none of you knew about it, right? But this was invented 20 years ago, and everything was going fantastic with the SEALs until 9/11 happened here in the U.S. And of course, the Department of Defense took a very different turn to protect the country and in weapons and whatnot. And so they stopped that mission. And David decided that at that point, he was going to start his own company because of so many people on caffeine, amphetamines, and uppers, and all kinds of coffee, and you name it, to be able to increase their energy level, right? People were wore out. So he thought this would be a healthy alternative. And he had already had ideas of other types of things to be able to help people improve their quality of life, like Eon, that reduces inflammation, right? Or like Ice Wave, that gets rid of pain on the spot. Or like glutathione, that signals the body to increase its own glutathione production, which is the master antioxidant and detoxer. So there have been a dozen patches invented over the last 20 years. The person that invited you can send you a summary sheet, one-page summary PDF, where you can see each patch and what it does. But know that each patch is backed by clinical studies as well. We have over 20 years of clinical studies. So they're all there on that website. Okay, so this is not other people's stem cells. That's a great question. No, it's not. It is definitely not. Absolutely not. No, there is nothing on the patch. Nothing is going into the body. Your body has its own stem cells. You were born with an abundance of them. This patch says, hey, let's go. Wake up. You were there. You used to work before. Start activating again. Elevate. Let's go. Mobilize. Move. They're your stem cells. Your body is going to increase its own stem cell production. We see this through blood work. We can test it, right? And so it's increasing your body's stem cell production. If you stop using the patch, will your body remember how to keep making the cells? Okay, so when your body increases its stem cell production, and let's say you're like me, right? Almost 48 years old, right? So my stem cell production is diminished. okay? Because I'm, getting closer to 60 than I am to, 18 and below, right? Obviously. And so the last 14 months, my body has made more stem cells, more stem cells, more stem cells, okay? And so when I went to the naturopathic doctor that Laura goes to, I went at 6 months, because David has said, about every 6 months, your body becomes eight years younger, cellular level, right? So I'm like, let me go see what my blood work shows. And, I've taken care of myself, been healthy, always in preventative medicine, all types of things holistic. So I figured I was probably younger than 47 at that time, but I don't know how much, right? I don't know. But I go in and they do my blood work, and the nurse practitioner says, well, I can tell you that you're a 30-year-old female, your vitamin D level looks great, you're nowhere near menopause, and you don't need to worry about any of that, so what can I help you with? And I'm like, well, I'm almost 48, and my biomarker showed I was 30, 18 years younger. So my body right now, my stem cells, my body is functioning at least as a 25-year-old by now, right? That was at 6 months, I was 30, and here I am, another 8 months later. I'm definitely, the science says you're going to go back to 25. Your body's going to go back to 25, you're going to hang out at 25. So my body is producing stem cells using this technology as if I'm 25 years old. So if I stop using the patch and I don't use it anymore, my body is going to start its aging process as it would at age 25. 25-year-olds still have an abundance of stem cells. Now, 48-year-olds don't have as much, right? Right? Like, that's like double the age. So my body's going to be able to keep the progress that it's made and continue to have obviously this is all about prevention, right? I'm 25, right? On the cellular level. So my body will just do the normal aging process as it would of any 25-year-old, okay? So I promise you won't turn into a pumpkin overnight. Is there a good test to start to take before you want is there a good test to take before starting on them if someone wanted? So we have a health tracker. And like I said, I didn't do anything beforehand. I just know powers of stem cells. I stuck it on my body instantly. I've never stopped. But we do have a health tracker that we know we utilize now with our clients, and it helps you in a couple different sections, 2 pretty good sized categories, to be able to track yourself, to be able to look at what's going on in your body. I mean, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like on pain level, where am I at? 10 being I can't handle it, 1 being I have no pain, and I'm going to track that progress over the course of the first 90 days. So in your sleep, in your vitality, in your skin, in your energy, a lot of different categories. You can definitely use that. As far as having to have a specific type of test, you don't have to at all. I work with different practitioners and doctors all over the globe. So different people have different gadgets and things like that, BioWells or Genius or biofeedback or neurofeedback. You can do those types of things if you want to. They're not required, they're not necessary. It's totally up to you. If you have someone that you work with that is in the holistic world that's doing that, you absolutely can, but it's not anything that's required. And someone asked about what biomarkers indicate is what's working. So you would have to get with a naturopathic doctor. We don't have time tonight to go into all of that, but get with a holistic practitioner doctor that is able to write blood work, and they can show you the different biomarkers, looking at the different organs and the functionality of those organs in your body and the different systems, like looking at your endocrine system, looking at your hormones, looking at your pancreas and your liver and your kidneys. They all have biomarkers, tests that they do to tell the age and the functionality of those systems in the body. So you just have to, I don't know. I have not been to an MD since I was 18 years old. So I can't tell you that an MD would have that or want to do that or take the time to do that. I don't know. That's been, 30 years for me since I've seen that person. So I don't know. I would just seek out somebody holistic. Somebody else asked if it's safe for everyone, contraindication for anyone, or in any combination, hyperallergenic, does it affect cancer? So the patch is a 3M hypoallergenic patch. No latex, of course, class 1 medical device, FDA approved, Band-Aid, okay? You're not gonna have any side effects from the patch, right? The patch is it's just sticky. If you don't wanna wear it, you can stick it on your shirt. It's still gonna do the same thing. It doesn't have to touch your skin. Your body's light is coming off at least 4 inches from your body. So we know that just even having it, on our skin, on our shirt is going to be working, right? So there's that question. Is it safe for everyone? Yeah, absolutely. Unless you have had a heart, liver, or kidney transplant, like if you have a foreign organ in your body, you're on immunosuppressant drugs, I am sure, and you would not want to use the stem cell activation patch to increase your stem cells because they will want to go and attack that foreign organ. Okay, so that's the only thing is if you have a foreign organ. Otherwise, there are no contraindications to anything that you're currently doing or using. That's perfectly safe. Does it affect cancer? As far as cancer is one of those things that we're not going to talk about treating or curing any types of cancers. Do we have people that utilize this technology going through their chemotherapy, radiation, or cancer treatments? Yep, we absolutely do. The only thing is you don't want to use the stem cell activation patch or the other patches on the days you're actually receiving chemo or radiation, because those two things kill everything in your body. So it's kind of a waste of money, right, to be able to apply the patch and increase your stem cell production when the chemo or radiation is just going to kill it. So I would definitely not patch on those days you're receiving chemo or radiation. But on the days that you're not, yes, you definitely can patch. Someone says, can you have a Herxheimer, where to go, experience it first? That's not common for someone to have some type of detox. It's sometimes it happens with people if you feel a little sluggish or tired. Water is the key, okay? And so if you feel like I'm a little under the weather, or maybe I'm just a little fatigued, you're probably not consuming enough water. So the requirement is half your body weight in ounces every single day. If you are older, we know for a fact your cells are dehydrated. And so making sure that you are consuming extra water is very important so that you feel good and you have the best results. We know our cells are light. That is science. And we know that this patch works with light, and the water is the conductivity that helps that to happen. And so you have to have your water. So whatever you weigh, take that number and divide it in half. You are to be consuming half of your body weight in ounces every day. If you're up 50 or above, you're going to need to increase that a little bit because of the fact that your cells are dehydrated. If you're someone that consumes caffeine, coffee, sodas, or any kind of alcohol, then you're even more dehydrated. And so you're going to need to overcompensate with extra water from there as well too. But it's definitely not normal for you to experience some type of, detox from it. If you are, just up your water intake. It's the best thing to do. You're not getting enough water. Yes, it's completely safe with a pacemaker. We have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people with pacemakers that their ejection fractions look like super athletes now after using this patch. So yeah, that's completely safe. That's not a foreign organ. You can have hip replacements, right, Laura? Knee replacements. Yeah. You can have bionic parts. I was zooming with a lady earlier that had been in a motorcycle accident. She had most of the whole entire side of her right side of her body at titanium plates everywhere, rods, screws, you name it. Everything was holding this whole side together from a motorcycle accident about maybe 8-9 years ago, something like that. So she was super excited about her results so far using the patch and was excited to patch her horses. So what if you were born 9 weeks early at 2 pounds 8 ounces? He's now 24 years old. Would the patch help you? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely would help them. So no matter what you were born, right? No matter what your situation was, the body wants to be in balance, right? And we know it gets out of balance from trauma, from stress, from injury, from surgeries, from illness, and lifestyle and diet. And so no matter when you were born, no matter what age you are, whether you're 2 or you're 92, the patch is going to help get your body back into balance from those outside, external things that are causing it to internally be out of balance. So husband has NF1, insulin dependent diabetic. Niece was run over by a van. We also have a chronic pain. When I received the patch, I misunderstood. I had horrible back pain, and my great nephew had to have cranial remodeling because of swelling in his brain. applied the patch, the pain went away almost immediately. It was amazing. Where do you place patches when you have pain? Okay, so we have the patch called Ice Wave. So I'm going to talk to you about 3 things. First of all, the X39 and the Eon. We want to address the root cause of the pain, okay? Number 1 is you're going to reduce inflammation at the same time that you're increasing stem cell production, okay? These 2 are vitally important for pain because pain, there's inflammation. We know that. And we want to get to the root. We know that the root cause of the disease in the physical body is inflammation. So these 2 are your number 1 starting point. I'm not going to tell you they're going to get rid of your pain immediately. You may be like Laura, and 20 minutes later her shoulder pain's gone, but I don't know. I would never say that, okay? But I'm going to tell you to start with these 2. What I'm going to tell you to get rid of your pain is called Ice Wave. Ice Wave does not get to the root of the problem and is not going to repair anything. What Ice Wave is going to do is it's going to open up your energy channels in that area to alleviate the pain. Pain is stuck energy, okay? And so you can see we have 2 patches. Ice Wave has a tan and a white patch. We have AccuLife, that's for horses, right? I just mentioned horses. It's the exact same thing. There's nothing different. So if your husband's being a horses, you know what? You can put the AccuLife on him instead of the Ice Wave. I went through more AccuLife I think than I have. I guess when I ordered at the beginning, I live in a horse community, I ordered a ton of AccuLife and I forgot to order Ice Wave. And so I was using, when he golfs, his ankle hurts. And so just from walking, right, 18 holes on the course, he had shattered his talus bone before I met him, dirt bike riding. And so I'll put the Ice Wave or AccuLife on his ankles and it gets rid of his pain like that. So this patch works where the pain is. So if the pain is in my left shoulder, I'm going to put the tan patch on my left shoulder. I'm going to put the white patch on my right shoulder. Okay, so this works with the polarity of your body. Now, there are different methods. You can go to YouTube and you can type in Ice Wave, Life Wave, and you can see David doing the clockwise and moving it around and sandwiching it and doing all this stuff. To me, it's always been a little too confusing. And I know a confused mind says no. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to put these 2 on. You're going to put these 2 on. Then you're going to put the tan one on the left side of your body and the white one on the right. Had a girl earlier, we were doing Zoom. She had a migraine. It was coming from the side of her neck. On the right side, we put the white one. On the left side, we put the tan one. Within 10 minutes, her pain was gone. The migraine was gone. So you want to apply these on the location. If it's your knee that hurts and it's your left knee, then put the tan one on the spot on the left knee that it hurts. Put the white one on the right knee. I talked to a lady yesterday, a brand new customer. She had just got her patches in. And she said, my daughter has migraines and the migraine is not gone. It's been 30 minutes. And I said, well, tell me where you put these patches. Because I told her to call me before she applied them. And she goes, well, I put the white one on the back of her neck. I said, okay, but it's not the location. You were to call me before, so you wasted 30 minutes of her life. So there's 2 patches. You put the white on the right, the tan on the left. And I said, let's put them down below the occiput, right? One on this side, one on this side. Your spine is your midline. The white one is going to the right of the spine. The tan one is going to the left of the spine. And then it was like, we were on the phone 5 minutes and her daughter's pain dissipated. It's like, it's important that you follow instructions. Instructions are to use both patches. And keep the white on the right and the tan on the left. Okay? That keeps it super simple and easy. Ice Wave, yeah, it can be used for anything instead of Advil or Aleve, right? Obviously much safer on your liver. What other questions do you guys have tonight? Anything else that I can help you with? Feel free to unmute yourself or just type it in the chat.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. So you were talking about, you were showing the picture of the tan, which was the Eon. I forgot. I mean, you were going fast. I was trying to write down that maybe that wasn't.
Eon is the patch that reduces inflammation.
Okay, so that's not the dual one that you do at the same time, the X39 and the Eon, if you want to address the root cause. If you have a symptom and you're in pain, like anything you have to take, say Advil or pain reliever for, you would use Ice Wave. But the Ice Wave itself it's a 1 patch or a 2 patch process. That's the ones that you
That's
got.
the two. Yeah.
I lost something in translation. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome. No, great question. Parkinson's or epilepsy success. Yes. So we have a Telegram channel. So Vanessa, whoever invited you, they can go to our Telegram channel. They can pull up, you can type in the search. We have over 3,000 recorded testimonials. And so you can search Parkinson's, they can search epilepsy, and they can share with you personal testimonials of people. We don't do clinical studies on those things, right? Because then we'd be claiming to cure or treat something. We definitely don't want to do that. But we do have those recorded testimonials so people can share what's been going on with them, their symptoms, things they're experiencing, how long they've been using the patch, and then their results since then. So I need to get the Ice Wave. I have the X39. So now I wonder if I do it with both, it'd be different. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. What other questions do you guys have?
Dr. Stacy, the Lisa that asked the question about the pain in the patches, her nephew just had reconfigured surgery on his head, and I think he's about 4 years old. And her question was it okay for him to use it? I know she put everything in her question, but I've told her it would be a great thing for him because he's not eating right. He's losing weight. His function is not the same. It's actually getting worse since the surgery. But the doctors are telling him just to wait. And I said sometimes they don't know what the patch is.
I would use the X39 and Eon for sure. For sure.
So I have a question too. But
you can use the Ice Wave.
Yeah, I got the sample. Katana Ray was kind enough to give us the X39 to try. But with the opening up his skull and having the brain surgery, it really freaked me out. And apparently I'm dyslexic and I can't really type tonight. So I just thought I would clarify, like with him, he had craniosis. I don't know if you're familiar with that but they had was malnourished as an infant because my niece lived in extreme poverty. And so it's kind of she's my half sister, my birth sister's daughter, and I never met her, but we took her and her son in because they were homeless in Arizona. And he wasn't getting the nutrition, but when he came here, I put him on an organic diet, and because I'm an all-natural, organic, sustainable chef. And his brain started to grow and his body started to grow. And then there was no room because the sutures in his skull had closed too soon. Wow. And so at 4 years old, he had to have a surgery that typically is done at 6 months old. But we're going through children's, and my niece was run over by a van and has to have hip replacement surgery soon. I have severe neuropathy. My brother just had open heart surgery. And so we have a lot of biological things going on in the family. And my husband has neurofibromatosis 1. And so he ends up having a lot of chronic pain. And, he grows tumors that are typically benign. But this is very interesting. So I'm very excited about this. And I'm hoping to make it affordable for our family because, we are kind of disabled. So, but with Ryan, we are waiting because we are being evaluated by Children's. And so we cannot go outside of the program with them. And he was malnourished. But since he's come here, he's doing better with having the gastric problems he had. He was born with somewhere he couldn't absorb food and nutrients. So we have to follow their program pretty strictly right now until his evaluation is complete. But we decided that the adults in our family, it would be good to give it a go.
Yeah.
And I had really bad back pain in my lower back from stress, probably with all the surgery and stuff happening. And I put the patch on. I did it all wrong because I read her directions wrong, and I took 2 of those patches and put it on near my lower back where I had the pain.
Mm-hmm.
One on each side of my back, actually, but it was the same patch. It was the X39. And I thought it stayed on for 5 days. So I never took it off for 5 days.
Oh.
But after about 30 minutes, my pain was gone, which was amazing because I had pain for 2 solid days. That was so incredible. I couldn't even stand up and walk.
Wow.
And so that helped me get through the surgery. So I think it's a really good, product and investment, but we've got to figure out with all the stuff going on how we're going to manage it because everybody in the family is going to have to probably use it. So
right.